Hi there, this is Darla with one more intuition blind spot story from my own life. Like I said, we have a handful of these that when we can shift them, it really opens us up to follow what's true for us. So, in this story, I want to share about cashing out my retirement account. Okay. So, this goes back quite some time. This is the very beginning of really my journey with my connection to source and my magic in a really visceral example. So I had felt like I was intuitive even way back in corporate, like I was an intuitive leader and I kind of knew things or had a sense about things. But this is the first time that my intuition spoke to me really clearly in what I would call my recognition magic. It was way back, gosh, I'm even losing track of the year, but I had gotten divorced not too long previously. It was this experience of losing my stepdad to cancer and getting divorced within the same 3-month period that really got me willing and kind of feisty about doing what I loved and moving in this direction of becoming a coach. However, based in how my first marriage went, I was left with a significant amount of debt. It felt really significant to me. It was about $25,000 at the time. I decided to take on the debt in the divorce process to make it happen quickly and to just be done because my ex was really not showing up to the process at all. So I just took it. I knew I needed to pay this off for a couple reasons. I wanted to pay it off to be able to sort of afford to launch my business because I thought that becoming a coach meant I was going to probably live in poverty because, to do what you love, you can't really get paid was a belief that I had. I was really committed to getting this debt paid off so that I could start my business. And I didn't have any idea that I could start a business that would, make money and I could pay it with that. So anyway, I was not going to Starbucks. I was not going out for nice dinners. I was really, condensing my budget and trying to figure out how long it would take me to pay this off. And every time I did the math, it was going to take me a long time. I really wanted a solution to change this. So that was what was going on in the background for me at this time. I was also healing from my divorce and feeling just generally stressed and frustrated about my failure in my relationship and uncertain about the direction in my life. I was doing a lot of interviewing people and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my career and all of that. At that time, a friend of mine recommended that I go speak to someone that she knew who was a spiritual advisor. And I didn't really know why. She just was like, I think you should meet, find out, more about her and what she does. So I went and met with this woman. And here's the thing, and some of you may experience this just from being in this container. When we are in the presence of someone who's really connected to source, we can entrain to that connection. It opens something for us energetically. I see this happen all the time where I am on the phone with someone, and for me, I haven't done anything. I've just shown up and they solve their problem because they get connected to my connection to my higher knowing, which connects them to their higher knowing. So anyway, I didn't know any of this then, right? I'm just coming out of I had an engineering career and then I taught high school. I didn't study anything spiritual at the time. And I had this meeting with this woman and I'm driving home from the meeting and I'm just driving my car down the highway. It's a weekend. There's not a lot of traffic. I'm just driving. And all of a sudden my car swerves on the highway, just out of nowhere swerves. I didn't do it. I knew I didn't do it. And I got really curious about this. What the heck was that about? And so my first thought was to look at all my gauges and see is something wrong with my car. And then my second thought was, what was I thinking about when that happened? So I guess I had known enough that there were signs from the universe. There was, intuitive signs to follow at that point. And so I was thinking back to what I was thinking about when the car swerved. On the whole drive, I was thinking about, okay, I'm really inspired. I want to go start my business, but I got to get rid of this debt. What can I do? And I had been going through in my mind all of the possibilities for how I could clear my debt. This was a train of thought I'd had 100 times at least. In that moment when the car swerved, I was thinking about cashing out my retirement account. So I had had a good job at Procter and Gamble, and I had retirement there. And then I taught high school, and I actually had a great retirement account there. And I could just take that money, cash it out, pay my debt, and move on with my life. And I knew that. However, in my mind, I had this thought that I can't do that because I'll pay an extra 10%. Right? So we all know this, or I think. To me, it felt like common knowledge that if you cash out your retirement early, you're going to pay extra taxes to the government, and that is dumb. And so you should never do something that's dumb, right? I had built my identity on being smart. And so immediately, even though that kept popping in as an idea, I cleared it off the table. I was like, well, I can't do that. I can't pay extra taxes. That's dumb. I have to hold on to that money, right? In the meantime, I'm paying interest on my credit card. In the meantime, every time I pay my credit card bill, I'm angry and upset about this divorce and all of that baggage, right? It's just a reminder of that. Here's the money that can solve the problem. Here's the problem that is actually affecting my energy every single day. And I could take this and clear this and start fresh. But the thing that was stopping me was that is not smart. And we don't do things that aren't smart, right? So here I am driving down the highway and the swerve happens. And I remember, I was thinking about my retirement. And I started to go, was that a sign? Was that a sign that I should do that? And I felt in all of my body, yes, that's a sign. So I sat with it for a few days, trying to talk myself out of it, doing this dumb thing and cashing out my retirement. Like, what would anybody think of me? As if anybody would even know. Now I'm telling everybody. And so I did. I cashed out the retirement. I got the check. I paid my credit card. So I cashed out my $35,000 retirement from being a teacher. I got $25,000 that I used to pay off the debt. It was clear. And within a week, I kid you not, I got a call from a former colleague with a job offer, making $35,000 a year more than I had been at my old job. So I immediately made that money back. Now, it doesn't stop there. I said yes to that job. And then within 6 months, I received a severance package from that company because they sold the company. And so I got a big check to start my coaching business. So here I was thinking, okay, I'm really committed to starting this coaching business, but I have this problem. My intuition gave me the solution, which it had been trying to all along, right? And I wanted to dismiss the solution because my blind spot was you have to be smart to get love. Because when I was a kid, there was a whole experience I had where I thought the only thing my dad loved about me was that I was smart. And so that was in my blind spot. And so because this wasn't smart in the big picture, like I literally couldn't even consider it. And I didn't even know why. So not only did making the decision to do that help me pay my debt on a practical level, but it opened me up energetically to be free from the trap of having to be smart. And guess what? Now my intuition had all kinds of ways to access me because it wasn't constantly fighting against my I have to be smart idea. So what's opening up for you? What's opening up for you? Do you have a belief in your blind spot like I did about having to be smart to get love? Because in my mind, I believed my dad would only come pick me up if I was smart. And because of that, I'm holding on. I'm, 30 some years old, holding on to this debt and punishing myself because I couldn't make this decision that didn't seem smart to me. I am so incredibly grateful. I got tapped into sourced energy. I was able to trust my recognition magic that thing was actually a sign. It got reaffirmed because I immediately made the money back and then some when my company was purchased. I couldn't have logically made that plan. There's no possible way I could have logically made that plan. And it was just right there for me to step into. And I almost didn't because of this fear.